why do I keep attracting the same kind of, partner of the one that is emotionally unavailable? That's because I was too much in my masculine energy.
Hey guys, welcome to our SoulFam Podcast, where I interview space holders from all over the world. I'm your host, my name is Karolina, and I am the Connection Catalyst. I help spiritual entrepreneurs experience deeper connection with themselves, with others, and with the universe. Today on the show, we have Elia Bean, the mindset coach, the energy healer, and the hypnotherapist. Welcome to the show, Elia. How are you doing?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you so much for having me in your show. Thank you. I'm so happy that we were able to connect and that you contact me and that you have this platform for people like us to be able to express ourselves and be able to share our message with others up there. So thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. That's so nice to hear these words because, yeah, sometimes I feel like there's a lot of work to be done with this podcast when the technical issues, when Mars is in retrograde and there are many technical issues on my way and I have so many roadblocks. But then, thanks to people like you who appreciate this work, I really feel so empowered and fueled to do this work and to actually spread even more messages and talk to even more healers. So that's amazing. Thank you so much for that. It really warms up my heart. And so I would love to start our conversation with a little bit of a backstory. How did you become a mindset coach, energy healer, and hypnotherapist? What has really inspired you? What was your drive to be
Mhm.
a coach?
Absolutely. Yes. So I grew up in Mexico, south of Mexico. Little since I was a little girl, I always knew there was something more. There was something more for me, and so I worked really hard. Moved to Mexico City to go to high school, and I grew up in a family that was very dysfunctional. My father, when I was very young, he was an alcoholic, and so I saw domestic abuse happening in my home. So anyway, so then I moved to Mexico City. I wanted to get out as far as possible from my home, and then moved to Mexico City. Finished high school there, and I knew it was important for me to dedicate in my education, to have this really focus on my education so that I could keep moving further and further. So right after that, I moved to Utah in United States, and I went to school over here in Utah. I studied marriage and family studies, and but before I finished, I got married, and so got married, and my marriage was just another pattern. I had not broken the same pattern since I was a little girl, so it was the same pattern. Married the same kind of person as my dad, a different package, but it was kind of like the same, abusive and all of that, mental, physical. And, anyways, that pushed me to become who I am now because my ex-husband at that time, who I respect very much now we have a better relationship, but at that time he was my shadow, and he showed me everything that I needed to work on myself. So I'm actually very thankful for that. It was very painful, went through a lot of pain, but it showed me what I needed to work on myself. And went back to school, and that's when I started doing therapy myself. I put myself in therapy, work on different techniques, different modalities. Try anything from cognitive behavioral therapists, clinical psychology. I work with a thanatologist with an NLP, neuro linguistic programming, and just finding reasons. I had a Reiki master, which I still have. I had a healer, and just working on different modalities to really cleanse myself, to clean myself, to really balance myself. I really needed to work on that. 2 years ago, I went a little bit deeper into my healing journey. Went back to Mexico, had my doctor over there. She's an Ayurvedic doctor, which nutrition is super important. So change my nutrition. I can't say that I'm fully vegan right now, but that was something that I definitely needed to change. I don't eat red meat. I don't eat pork. I don't eat chicken anymore. And so, that was a big change going through that. And that was just kind of like the start of something way more deeper. I thought that, all those years of school and all of that, that I had already healed. But those, 2 years ago, it was way, I kind of like went into that rabbit hole a little deeper, a little deeper. And that really helped me to understand that I needed to do this healing so that I could help more women, so that I could help more men that are, in the same pattern, in the same, going through the same issues that I went through. Because we all, we're in this world trapped with our mindset. Our mind is being poisoned every day. Our bodies are being poisoned every day. The water that we drink, even the water that, just alone, the water that we drink, they put so much fluoride in it, which it blocks our psychic abilities. It blocks our third eye. And anyways, done thousands of hours of meditation. And this is why this morning I texted you too, because I went a little deeper in my meditation, and then boom, I woke up like I came back just 10 minutes before this call. And I was like, oh my god, I need to get ready. So I had enough time, got ready. But meditation, super important too, to really dig a little deeper, going into that, your inner self. And so that has been my journey. And everything that I've been learning, all the techniques that I learned, I like I said, I went back to school, and I learned hypnosis. I learned RTT, rapid transformational therapy, which I found that has so much more. It's almost like taking the it's going into a it's almost like going into a shamanic journey without using any plant medicine. So hypnosis has the same effect as, let's say, mushrooms, or other plant medicine. Not necessarily ayahuasca. Ayahuasca is a little bit more, way deeper, which I haven't tried that. But more of a purging kind of plant, and anyway, so hypnosis has been something that has helped my clients and has helped me go deeper, way deeper. There's so much that we're holding on, that we're holding not only in our souls, but it's all this energy. So I learned about energy too. So I started studying Tantra. Um, I study, thanatology, which is the study of death, spiritual intelligence, and I kind of started like putting all the little dots together. Right? I'm still putting all the dots together, but it was so important for me to do that, to be able to help my clients have faster results, create more self awareness, and keep digging deeper to get all that mud out of the vessel and
Mm,
allow more light in that vessel.
mm.
So that has been my journey. But yeah, that's how I became a therapist. That's why I became a therapist, because I was going through my own healing journey.
Mhm,
And when I found out, this is helping me, I need to be, I want to help others too. I want to
mhm.
help others too, to be free.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing this story. It's really inspiring. And I'm super curious because you've studied so much, you learned all these different methods and techniques. What has been the most effective in your view?
So the two things that I use right now, as a therapist, is that I use hypnosis and energy healing. I combine both of them in my sessions. My sessions can go anywhere from 1 hour to 2 hours. Sometimes it has taken about 3 hours, depending on the issue, depending on the person, depending on how much healing needs to be done. But definitely, it's I combine, so I use hypnosis to put the person in a trance, and be able to take them deeper into that journey. And then I use regression. So the regression part, it could either go into a regressing you or regressing the client back into a time, a point in this lifetime, or it could take them back to a point in a past life and heal, finally heal that. So that has been very, very interesting, past life regression. Um, and I think that's part of why I'm getting to understand more and more of all this, divine feminine, all the abuse that has been going on with the divine feminine. And that has helped me understand more and more, and seeing it, and also being able to channel more of that, more of that understanding, getting more of that knowledge too, and again, just kind of like putting all the little dots together, and it's like, oh, that makes sense. Okay, this is why this is happening. Okay, that makes sense now. So I work mostly with women, which I absolutely love. But I also work with men too, because men also need to do their healing too. Men also need to heal their divine feminine energy too. Balance, to have that balance of the masculine and the feminine energy, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what gender you are. It doesn't matter if you're, male, if you're a man, or if you're a woman. We both have the two polarities, and we both need the two polarities, right? We both need the feminine and the feminine and the masculine energy. We both have that. And when we have it an imbalance of it, that's when we start feeling like we're lost. Because I've been there, done that. I used to feel like I was lost. I used to feel like I was like, why am I not attracting, my perfect partner? Why am I not attracting? Why do I keep attracting the same kind of, partner? The one that is emotionally unavailable. That's because I was too much in my masculine energy. Nothing wrong with that, right? Masculine energy helps you to, work faster. It helps you to be more proactive, and all of that. But we definitely need that divine feminine energy, that nurturing side of us, that loving, that unconditional love. All of that is so necessary. And not to be, not to say anything bad about men. Like I said, this has nothing to do with being, men or women. Divine feminine energy is also very healing too. It's such an important and very powerful healing energy.
Mm.
And that goes along also with our sexual energy too.
Hmm. So, based on your work and all the past life regressions or just this life regressions you've done, what do you feel like is the reason that the divine feminine energy is so suppressed, and also how to express it now? Like, what to do to actually awaken this divine feminine flow within everyone?
Mm-hmm. Thank you for asking me that question. Yes, so doing those past life regressions in other people, and I tend to do that on myself too. I can, put myself in hypnosis and dig a little deeper too. And doing that, I was going back to the times where they used to burn women, thinking that they were, and calling them witches. We go back to the, time of the Inquisition times. And this woman, we were, and I say we because we were probably there too, um,
We're still witches
because
now.
we're still witches, right? But you know what? Like, I don't even call myself a witch. Like, we were healers. We were healers because we have such, again, that divine feminine energy is such a powerful healing power. It goes along with our divine and sacred sexual energy. Our sexual energy is extremely, extremely powerful and healing. And so that's where we practice sacred sex, right? We practice sacred sex with our partners because when we're doing that, not only we are in that place in that moment, it's not an act, right? Sex is not an act. It's that we are in that place with our partner, exchanging, having that exchange of energy with our partner. And when we do that, it's not just that, yes, it is that exchange of love, that is that exchange of love, but it's also healing power too. It's healing energy. It is rejuvenating energy. And that's why, the female ejaculation, Amarita, is also another, the meaning of it is the fountain of life. So imagine, it's like we have the fountain of life, right? We have that power. And of course, women is the kingdom. Women is the kingdom. Men hold that key to that kingdom. And so when we are letting that man, that our partner, come into our kingdom, is that you better be ready to be the king. You better be ready to be the king of this kingdom, right? And because we are allowing them, we're opening that kingdom for that man to be the king of that kingdom, along with us, a queen, the queen of this kingdom too. But it's this is why, sacred sex, this is why this whole idea of, just this is why we're sexual beings. We are sexual beings because we have such powerful energy. Like I said, that sacred sexual energy is extremely powerful. It's healing, it's empowering, it's rejuvenating, and truly it's kind of what keeps us healthy and youthful too, and so much more, and healed too, right? So anyways, going back to that time where they used to burn women, doing more channeling and going and working with other women alone, is that what I have been kind of recovering and or discovering is that during that time of Mary Magdalene, we were the guardians of that sacred power. And when I guess you could say, you could call it the evil force, the evil, the dark side, um, wanted this woman to use that power for them, because they knew how powerful our sexual energy is. And so they wanted to use it. That's when they created prostitution. So prostitution wasn't created for, by women, it was created by men. Because they needed the healing, they needed that healing for all the soldiers that were coming back. And they wanted to use women to heal this man with their sexual power. So that's why that was created, prostitution. Then of course we have also, and that's abuse. That alone was abuse. We have, that's sexual abuse. We also have the fact that that was when it was created, the sexual trafficking for young little girls. And going back into time with past life regressions, I have clients that have gone back all the way back till they were 4 years old, and they were being handed to the soldiers, and they were being taken to dungeons. And at the age of around 22, and they were being taken there, possibly for, that was possibly for sexual, what is that called? Um, Anyways, they were being, held in there in those dungeons. And again, that's abuse. That was 4 year old. Imagine a little 4 year old girl going into a dungeon, being taken hostage in there. Have no idea why they were going in there. At the age of around 22, if they didn't want it to continue doing their what they were asking for, they will be they were burned, you know, life. And again, I have taken women that they have gone through that, you know, past life regression, and being in that moment where they were being, you know, burned in life. And I mean, all this abuse that we have gone through, all this, it's it is time to stop it. You know, it is time for us to really come out and to you know, be empowered. And this is why we have now other healers. You know, this is not just me that is doing this work, right? But there's other healers out there. There's other healers out there that are empowering women so that we can really regain, reclaim, and proclaim that divine feminine power again, because it's so needed. It's so needed right now. And women, you know, we really need, because we're healers. We are, you know, we are the healers of this planet. We are the healers of our own bodies. We are the healers of our partners. We are just, you know, we are in this planet to heal it. We want to make this planet better. And so that's something that we can do. We can just, women that are going through so much confusion right now. There's so much confusion right now. There's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of women that are feeling lost. Not just women, men too. Again, I want to focus on the divine feminine energy, the actual energy, not just the gender, sex. And so there's so many women and men up there that are feeling confused, that are feeling, you know, lost, that are feeling that in so much pain because they're still holding on to that pain. You know, that this particular client that we were doing that past life regression, there was so much pain. And right now it's also showing that pain in our physical body too. It's not only mental pain, it also shows in our physical body, because if our mind is hurting, it's going to send those, you know, signals. It's just, you know, the neuroplasticity is going to send those signals into our body too, where our body is going to start, you know, aching. Our body's going to start just feeling like it's shutting down too. And so that's why it's so important to do that, you know, that mental health. Go, you know, go and find a healer, find a therapy, you know, get help. You know, you're not alone here. We're not alone here, and we're not meant to do this alone. This is why there's, you know, there's so many of us that are doing this work right now, and that are, because it's almost like it's our mission. You know, like you have a mission. Your mission is to spread the word. And you know, I have a mission. Everybody has a different mission, right? I have a mission to really help women and men to heal their mindset, to heal that body, so that they can be free, let go, and clear and cleanse, and let go of those that toxic energy, and the toxic feeling, and those toxic memories. And not just those toxic memories from this life, but from also the past life. Much Imagine how much pain we're still holding on to from all those past lives too. And so that's why it's so important for us to do the work, you know. And it's not easy, and it's painful. You know, it is painful going through that healing journey, because the more you discover. I have clients who are like, you know, I'm doing the work, but the more and more I do, I find there's more resistance. You know, I'm like, yes, but that means that you're doing the work. That's because you're doing the work. So again, sometimes we go into therapy thinking that we're gonna be healed like that, right? Therapy help us to create self-awareness. When we have self-awareness, then every time that we have a, you know, a healing session, we go back home, and then we can start writing. We can start writing in a journal, and more things might be coming out. more things are going to come out to the surface. Things that you probably didn't remember, things that probably don't even make sense, because these are things that, this is pain that you were holding, that your soul has been holding, from past life to past life, reincarnation, to another reincarnation, to this reincarnation. And then who knows how many times you have been reincarnated, you know? So, but again, is there's hope. There is so much hope out there, there's so much hope. And then once you start doing that work, once you start going into that journey, that healing journey, it's not easy, but it's not impossible. And it's going to, I always say this, it always gets um, it always gets worse before it gets better, because we're taking out, how you, when you clean your house, when you do like spring cleaning, and you start cleaning, and it's like, the house was kind of like, it looked kind of clean, but then you start kind of like digging, and you start pulling stuff, and then all of a sudden your house is a complete mess, right? Because all the stuff that you took, and you put in all those stuff into the surface, now you can see all the mess. Okay, so now you need to start cleaning that mess, taking the trash out. And it
Mm.
might not be in one, it might take you more than a few days, it might take you more than a few months, and it might take you years too, but the thing is that we just have to be consistent. We need to be consistent in that healing journey. We need to be consistent in the things that we're doing. Meditation again is so important. Doing that meditation, working with a healer, working with a therapist, working in your mindset, and really just digging, digging and digging and digging. The more you dig, the more you're going to start, getting all that trash out, all that,
Mhm.
all that toxic, you know, and not only that, but then you're going to start experiencing that you also need to take care of your body too. Taking care
Mhm.
of the body is super important too,
Mhm.
because there has to be a balance, right? There has to be a balance between the mind, the body, and the spirit. So
Perfect. This is amazing. Thank you so much for sharing all that. And I feel like healing is the biggest thing that we can do for really reclaiming our feminine power and divine feminine within us. Because when we heal, we are letting go of so many layers of emotions just trapped in our body, and we can have a completely different perspective if we don't
mhm,
look at life through the glasses of trauma. If we just look at life for what it is, and we can really come from our essence and how we really truly feel in our hearts, rather than having all these programs through our mind and
mhm.
through our emotional body just imprinted on us. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing. I feel like healing is such an important thing, and that's why this whole podcast is about healing pretty much, and self-help, because
Yes, I
there's
love it.
so much we can talk about when it comes to healing. But I'm super curious, and I would like to rewind to this theme of sexuality and just harnessing this sexual feminine power, because you mentioned the term sacred sex. So first of all, I'd like to ask, what does sacred sex mean, and what are kind of like the let's say principles, or maybe what is the foundation of sacred sex? What would you say?
Mhm. So when I was studying Tantra, I was like, oh, well, Tantra, Tantra here in the Western hemisphere, it's a little different than Tantra, in India. It has been distorted, I would say. And the idea of Tantra here is more of like, it's all about sex, and you have to be sexual. And I'm not saying that polygamy is a bad thing, or being poly, if it works for you, great. But for the most part, what I have learned is that every time you exchange that with a partner, every time you have sex with a partner, you're exchanging energy with that partner. And so when you exchange energy with a partner, you're not only exchanging energy with that one partner, you're exchanging energy with that one partner, and with every other partner that he has, or that he has. And same thing, if you have other sexual partners, you also exchanging that energy of all those sexual partners that you have behind you with him. So imagine how, and then of course, whenever we have, sex with another person, we are releasing the energy, not just the energy, but the hormone of oxytocin. Oxytocin is the hormone that help us to create attachment to that person. So when we are having that exchange with many different partners, that's when we become a little confused, because we don't really creating an attachment with just one person, which it creates that confusion of like not knowing, why, what am I doing to this? And then it makes you feel empty. It kind of leaves you with a feeling of emptiness, because you're giving your energy to so many, it's like you're dividing your energy to so many other partners. Because remember, you're not just exchanging that energy with that one partner, you're exchanging your energy with that one partner and everybody else that he is exchanging energy with. So once I learned that and I realized that that's how it works, I became more protective of my sexual energy. And I understood that it, that sexual energy is so sacred. And so, whom I should choose to share it with should also cherish that energy too, and protect that energy too. And so, and of course, same thing, having the same exchange and having the same respect, because men need to be respected, but women needs to be cherished. And so when we have that, that exchange, it's such a beautiful dance. It's like a beautiful dance between the man and the woman, or, men and men, women and women, it doesn't matter, but between you and your partner, that's when we practice sacred sex, because we're so intentional too. We're so intentional that, even before we are coming to our partner, that we are able to cleanse our energy, that we are able to even clear anything that we maybe picked up from the day, work, or other stresses in life, that we're able to clear and cleanse that energy even before we come in that union with our partner. When we are ready to have that exchange of energy, when we are able to have sex, but more importantly is to have that exchange of energy. And so that's why I started practicing sacred sex. And sacred sex is just, it's so rewarding, it's so beautiful, and it's so fulfilling too, because you have that full power. You're not just, you're not dividing yourself in so many, and he's not dividing his energy with so many. So he's giving you his full power, and you giving him your full power too. And having that beautiful exchange, is healing. Again, it's such a healing experience. It could be a healing experience. It could be, a very, very, very orgasmic experience, which again, as women, we always have been told that, well, we're not a baby making machine. We're not just a baby making machine. We also have feelings. We also have desires, and we're also meant to have pleasure too. And we're also meant to experience the full expression of pleasure in this life too. This is why we are sexual beings too. So it's so important for us as women to respect our energy, so that that other partner also respects our energy too.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing. And I totally agree that you need to be very conscious about who you exchange your
Mm-hmm.
energy with. But I also feel like, from the higher perspective, we're all one anyway. So whether you exchange with like many people or not many people, it's just about your choice and being conscious what this person brings into your life and what this person, who this person connects with. Because if you, for example, are poly and then all the people that your partner connects with are cool people and you love them and you're happy to share the energy with them as well, then it's all good and it's all fine. But I guess it's most important to just be aware of what's happening. And yeah, I totally resonate with that. And yeah, I mean, I've been in a polyamorous relationship for maybe like not a long time, maybe like only 1.5 months, but it was the most beautiful experience ever, and everyone just loved each other so much. I had two boyfriends. My one of my boyfriends had two girlfriends, me and another woman, and it was so beautiful because there was so much unconditional love, and there was no problem at all with anyone, and everyone just loved each other, and we were hanging out, just four of us, so cool, and it was just great. So I know that it could be very conscious and it could be very beautiful if someone chooses that, although it's not my ultimate choice. I feel like I like to be very focused, as you said, with my energy on one person, and that's my preference. But I've tried it. I know how it feels, and I guess it's good to try and see what works for you. But I'm really curious about what you said. So when you share your sexual energy with someone, and this person, for example, shared his sexual energy, or her, or whatever, with, let's say, hundreds other people before you, then you share the energy with all these 100 people that were before you.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yes, so that's why it's so important to cut the cords and do a cleanse of your sexual energy. So the again, that you can do that with work with a healer and clear and cleanse and restore your sexual power. Basically, call in your sexual energy back to you, because that is your sexual energy. It belongs to you. And take back or get back their sexual energy and cut any cords with any past lovers or any past, sexual partners. It's important to do that, because otherwise, especially as a woman, that we are the receiver. We're holding on to that energy, and sometimes, there's been times where, and this happened to me before, where I have no idea why I was feeling the way I was feeling. And I was like, why am I feeling like this? And then working with my healer, who my healer actually lives in India, right? So he's a tantric healer. And I was like, his name is Chintu. I'm like, Chintu, I don't know what's going on with me. Like, why am I feeling like my whole body hurts? My energy is just like so low. And he's like, well, were you? And, he starts asking me all these questions. And I was like, yes. And yes. He's like, oh, okay. He's like, well, we need to cleanse your sexual energy, right? And it makes so much sense. It makes so much sense, because you never know, um, especially with casual sex, you never know. And this is before, this is before I became a therapist. But you never know who that person is having, exchanging an energy with another person that might not be okay, right? They might bring in the energy of anger. They might bring that energy of anxiety. They might bring that energy of depression. They might bring energy of just, something negative. And we keep that. We don't even know that we're keeping that, because we're not being conscious about it, right? Once you're conscious about it, that's different. But when you're not conscious about it, that you're doing that you're having that exchange of energy too, you're holding on to that energy, and it's just staying in there with you. So once you're conscious about it, you can absolutely work with a healer, cleanse that energy, cut the cords if it's necessary, right? Especially from past lovers, um, past relationships, if that's something that is very necessary to clear and cleanse all that energy, and more importantly, to restore and take back your sexual energy. That's more important than anything, for you to completely reclaim and take back your sexual energy, because that's your energy. And of course, take back and get back their sexual energy, because that doesn't belong to you. It's kind of like, what you were saying earlier, that we have this programming in our mindsets, and all of those ideas, all those beliefs don't even belong to you. They don't even belong to us. They were ideas that were imposed by our parents, and it wasn't even our parents. It was imposed by their parents and the parents of the parents, and so forth. So all those ideas don't even belong to us. So all that energy doesn't even belong to you. So if we're going through our day feeling like down, feeling tired or depressed or something, because we have that exchange of energy with somebody who had that energy. Now we're having that energy in ourselves. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why it's important to do that cleanse of your sexual energy and cut any cords with any past lovers that, more specifically, the past lovers that were not, as higher, conscious.
Mm-hmm.
If you have, sexual partners right now, you don't necessarily need to do that, as long as you know that they're, conscious partnerships. When you're in a conscious partnership, like you are right now, it doesn't matter if you're poly or monogamous. As long as you are in a conscious partnership, that's very different than being in an unconscious, or a lower conscious partnership, because
Mm-hmm.
then you're having that energy that is, it's not good for you. It's just not good for
Absolutely.
you. Yeah.
And we become conscious, right? So in the past we might have
Hmm.
had partners that were not conscious, and we were also not conscious in the past. So that's why
Exactly.
it's important
Hmm.
to clear the past, because then you made choices based on being not that conscious. So now you
Hmm.
can reclaim this power, you can reclaim this energy, and be conscious right now of everything that you've done. And it's not like everything is lost. Like if you connected with
No.
someone that you might not really vibe with or whatever now, it's not like, okay, that's done because you connected. You can actually clear it and reclaim your
Mhm.
sexual energy, and that's it, and it's going to be great.
Right.
So that's a very
Yes,
empowering
exactly.
thought to have, that we can
It is.
actually heal it and we can actually do something about it. We're not powerless to it or anything like that. We can just clear it and reclaim it, and it's all going to be very empowering. So that's really good news, I feel. And
Yes, absolutely.
so
Yes.
yeah, I'm
So
super.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's hope for everything, and everything can be healed. Anything can be healed.
Yes, I agree. I agree. Everything is like kind of reversible in a way. Like our whole
Mhm,
body can reprogram itself, and we are exchanging
mhm,
the cells constantly every like 7 years or so, right? So even if we
mhm.
have some diseases or some like energy that is stuck, we can always let it out, and we can always make ourselves feel better. So yeah, on this positive note, I would like to ask you one last little question. If someone really
Yes.
vibes with your energy and would like to see your content or contact you or work with you, what's the best way to find you?
Well, Instagram, just like you found me, Instagram is perfect because I don't want to say I'm always there, but I'm always checking my messages, and I always love to connect with people like you, and of course, I always love to connect with people that need help. So yeah, they can contact me through Instagram. Is probably the easiest way. Um, my website is also my name. It's www.eliabean.com. But honestly, the easiest way is through social media, which is Instagram.
Perfect. Thank you
Yes.
so, so much for sharing everything and for everything that you brought to the table, because I feel like these topics are so important, like healing our divine feminine and how to heal from abuse and all these things. So I'm super, super grateful that you agreed to be on the podcast. Thank you so, so much.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. Thank you. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, beautiful souls, for tuning in. It's been an amazing conversation. If you'd like to find me, I am the Connection Catalyst on Instagram. Have a wonderful day and stay tuned to the next episode.